Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever it is, and thank you very much for joining us and welcome to our Getting Started with Python tutorial series. Today we're going to be looking at downloading and installing PyCharm, which is an integrated development environment, a bit like PyScripter that we looked at doing in the last lesson, but this is a lot more advanced and it gives us a lot more features, and it's really cool. Now, it's a IDE that I don't use very often, but it's really powerful, and if it is your IDE of choice, it's really good fun and it can lead to a load of cool things. So the first thing that we need to do is actually download PyCharm, and we can do that by going to this link here, jetbrains.com/pycharm/download. And don't worry, I'll put that link in the description down below so you guys can go straight to it and download. When you're on the downloads page, make sure that you select the correct operating system, so Windows, Mac or Linux. I'm running on Windows, so I'm just going to choose this one, and then it's really important that you choose the Community Edition because that is the free and open source version that we absolutely love to use. For the professional version, you will need to get a trial, and the coding that we do isn't going to require having that professional software whatsoever, so you are absolutely fine to use the Community Edition for making Python. A lot of the things that the professional environment does we can do in other ways through plugins and extensions and just writing it ourselves, so you're not missing out on much at all, so don't worry. So hit that download button and an exe will download at the bottom of your window. Now, I've already done this just to save me 30 seconds, so when that's downloaded, feel free to pause the video right now, but when that's downloaded, hit that little exe and it'll just ask you to make changes to your device. My screen's gone blank just because I'm authorizing it. And then you'll get a Welcome to PyCharm Community Edition setup. Hit that next button, choose an install location, and I'll be with you after it's installed. So we'll just skip through to the important parts of this installation. So at the moment on my screen you can see that I've got these available options. So I'm going to create a 64-bit launcher from the desktop because that makes our lives a little bit easier. I'm also going to create associations with .py, so any Python files that we have on our computer, when we double click them, they'll open in PyCharm, which is really helpful if you choose to use PyCharm as your sort of IDE of choice. Then finally update the path variable, which we'll just check again because that'll save us some time in the future. So hit next on that, hit install, and then this will go through the process of installing it on your machines. So if you successfully installed PyCharm, well done, you've made it to this stage. If not, do drop us a question in the comments if you're stuck, or do a bit of a Google to try and find your answer. That'll probably be the best solution if you are having any technical difficulties with the installation. So now PyCharm is going to ask us if we want to import any settings. Now, as we've never developed anything before, we're just not going to import anything and just keep going. Then we'll get a nice little option to customize PyCharm, whether we want a dark theme or a light theme. It doesn't really matter, whatever you feel more comfortable working with. My eyes are quite tired at the moment, so I'm just going to go with some dark theme just because it's much nicer on my eyes. And then I'm just going to start using PyCharm straight away. And then we'll get this window here, welcome to PyCharm. And to create a new project, well, we need to click our create a new project. If we've already got a project on your computer from one of our future lessons, feel free to open that straight away. But we can click create new project, and we just need to create a new folder name for it. So I'm going to call it Python projects. Don't worry about the environment, just keep that all as defaults, and it will now create a new virtual environment for you in PyCharm. This is really cool because it means that we can actually run our code from PyCharm. It makes our lives much easier again, and we have access to the terminal as well, which is really cool. So it comes up with some tips of the day, which is really cool little things that you can pick up and learn as you're starting to develop Python. So you can go through a few of these if you're interested, then just close it when you're done. So as you can see, I've got my project here called Python Projects. I've got this little file explorer just here on the left, and if I want to sort of create a folder to write all of my code in, we can do that really easily by expanding this using that little arrow on the left, then right clicking on Python Projects, going to New Directory, and I'm going to call it Lesson 3. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm just naming it Lesson 3 because this is our Lesson 3 of Getting Started series. Feel free to check out the other two. So I'm going to go into New, and then I can create a new Python file. This is how we can actually create a new Python file and start writing our program. So I'm going to call this Hello World, and as you can see, hello world.py has been created under lesson 3 inside of Python Projects, which is really cool. So let's actually write some code, and the first thing that we're just going to do is print brackets speech marks hello world. This is a standard bit of code that you write whenever you learn a new language. So we want to be able to run our code, and there's a few ways that we can go about this. The easiest and simplest way is to find our file in the project directory here on the left, just right click and go run hello world, and what this will do is down below it'll run our program. As you can see, it's ran the program there, it's printed out hello world as it was meant to do, and it's finished with exit code 0, which means that everything's finished properly and well, and everything is good so far. There are loads of other ways to run it. Another cool way to run the code is actually through the terminal. We have to navigate through the terminal to our correct file location, and the way we do that is by using a set of commands. And I'm actually just going to write these commands out and comment them above. So we've got dir, which lists the files in the current directory. Oops, I spelled that wrong. There we go. We have cd, which changes the directory. Oh, my spelling is awful today. Directory, there we go. And then finally, we've got py, and this is the Python command, and this is how we actually run things. So, I'm currently here. My C drive uses Luke PyCharm projects / Python projects. So I want to get into lesson 3. And I need to find out where that is, and I think it's in this directory, because if we look at our hierarchy here, so I can confirm that by typing into the terminal dir for directories, and you'll show that it's listed the directories, lesson 3 and venv. And venv is a virtual environment that PyCharm is just using to run our code. We don't need to worry about that. So I want to navigate into the directory lesson 3, and how do I do that? Well, I can use the cd command. I can do cd lesson 3, and it takes me into this directory. Now you can see it's moved me from /Python projects to /Python projects /lesson 3, and this is really cool, and you can actually navigate your system like this through the command terminal if you wanted, or if you're interested. We can definitely do a tutorial on that at a future date. So now I'm just going to do dir again to list all the files and folders inside this directory, and as you can see, I've got helloworld.py, which is this Python file here. So what we can do to actually run it through the terminal is type py, which is the little Python shortcut. Then we can type in the file name, so helloworld.py, press enter, and you can see that it's actually outputted it into the terminal here, which is really, really cool. So that's really the main 2 ways of running our code on PyCharm. Like I said, the easiest way is just to right click on it and just go run hello world. It saves us having to navigate through directories, and it means that if we've got loads and loads of Python files, we can just right click on the one we want to run and hit run. It also gives us loads of debug tools, which is something that we can look at in the future when we have complex projects that require us to actually debug stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's tutorial. I hope that you're able to download PyCharm if you want to use it. It's a little bit more advanced than PyScripter, but it is really rewarding when you get to know it because of the amount of tools that it offers you, and it's open source and free, which is awesome. So thank you so much for joining us today, guys, on Coding with Luke and Sam. I hope you've learned something. Please do leave us a comment, please do drop us a like, please do share this video and subscribe. Don't forget to join the Discord, because we absolutely love talking to you guys. If you're not on the Discord yet, join the Discord, invite a friend to the Discord. Thank you so much, and have a great day.